black people came to America and we were given the leftovers from whatever the master was eating in the house. The traditions that we continue to carry on from our mom and our grandma and our great-grandma that was passed down to everybody. Like, we're just continuing all the things that were given to us when we were on plantations.
You've probably started to hear the word vegan a lot over the last year or so. Media outlets called 2019 the year of the vegan. Major food chains like Burger King, KFC, and Dunkin' Donuts have begun offering vegan options on their menus. Beyond Meat, which sells plant-based burgers and sausages, enjoyed the biggest IPO of a US company on the stock market since 2000. Someone that follows a vegan diet, also known as a plant-based diet, does not consume foods with animal products, meaning no meat, dairy, eggs, or anything that contains any of those things. And it's a movement that's steadily making its way towards the mainstream. 70% of the world's population is eating less meat or none at all, according to a recent study. Plant-based food sales hit $3.3 billion in the US in 2018, up 20% from the previous year, compared to growth of just 2% for all food sales. And some of hip-hop's most recognizable names are contributing to the trend. Beyonce and Jay-Z offered free tickets to fans that adopted a vegan diet just months after B went vegan for her Coachella performance. Hove also invested in Impossible Foods and a vegan cookie company, and Snoop Dogg has been pushing Beyond Meat. Styles P owns multiple juice bars, Cardi B launched a vegan fashion line, in June, Megan Thee Stallion said she planned to try out veganism, and in August, A$AP Rocky rapped about being vegan on his Babushka Boy single. One of the artists who's been the most outspoken about his plant-based lifestyle is Jermaine Dupri, who adopted a vegan diet over a decade ago and has been vocal about the positive impact he's felt since. I caught up with him at Green Soma Vegan in Atlanta to find out more. So let's go to the beginning of your vegan journey. How long have you been vegan and how did it all begin?
I've been vegan like going on almost 15 years, over 14 years now. You know, I just wanted to feel better. I do a lot of late hours, partying, working, and I just felt like I was eating wrong. So I went on like a 25-day fast where I ain't eat no food. And
no food for 25 days?
Yeah. The way I felt after the 25th day, I was like, what I'm gonna do to make myself continue to feel like this? I had way more energy. It changed my whole life. We promote the itis like that's cool. Mm-hmm. The itis ain't cool, man. It ain't cool to have the itis. You're supposed to eat, and it's supposed to energize you to want to do more of whatever it is that you was doing. You ain't supposed to go to sleep once you eat food.
What was the transition period for you like, though, when you decided to become vegan? Was it difficult?
Yeah, 100% it's difficult. I'm from Atlanta, you know what I mean? I ate Waffle House every day for 15, 20 years, every day, like religiously.
What was the reception like amongst like people close to you? Because I feel like nowadays if somebody says they're going vegan, it's like, what, you going vegan? Like, did the people close to you?
Everybody. I mean, everybody that heard I was vegan had something to say. You know, everybody. It's funny to see people that had something to say about it becoming vegan now. I mean, but once again, like I said, I didn't understand it either, so it's not something that I look at people and be like, oh, you stupid. You know, I was in that same space.
Are you like do you see yourself as like kind of like a pioneer of veganism, especially in our culture, Black culture?
Yeah, 100%. But as far as getting younger people into veganism and introducing it to, you know, people that weren't into it or never heard about it, I'm that person that's definitely been, I mean, you know, they might not give me that credit, but I'm the person that people be talking to like, okay, JD, what should I eat? Where should I go? Like, I'm gonna tell you, they got these shrimp in here, right? This is the only place in Atlanta that's got these shrimp. I brought Bow Wow, his assistant, his homeboy, all of them over here to have these shrimp, and they can't stop talking about them. yo, we gonna get them shrimp. And I'm like, yo, y'all not even vegan. There was the idea of the taste tastes so good and it's healthy. I might be able to do this. And I just happy to be a part of something that's growing and is creative, you know what I mean, and exciting, you know what I mean. I think life gets boring really fast, so just to be excited about eating is something different.
Yo.
Yeah, that's all that we have today.
What is it? This tastes like shrimp, bro. For real. No, for real.
He said, what is it?
But what is it for real? This is a fruit?
A root, hello?
A root?
Yeah.
All right, bro. Yo, that's crazy. This shit really tastes like shrimp. And it looked like shrimp. While JD spreads his message in the South, across the country in Compton, the hometown of YG, who in 2016 announced that he had adopted a vegan diet, you can find Lemel Durrah. Lemel is better known as Compton Vegan, which doubles as the name of his business. I linked with him at a weekly vegan street food fair in North Hollywood. Tell me about your vegan journey. I remember you were telling us a minute ago, but how did you become vegan? Were you born this way? Were you raised this way?
I became a vegan in 2015, 14. I was on a spiritual, mental, and physical cleanse, and the end result was just me becoming a vegan. I learned about the things that we put into our body and how it, motivates our mind, motivates our soul, and what it does to us physically. And once I learned what I learned, I could never turn back.
Got it. Now you're all the way in. You've started a business. Tell us a little bit about your business and what it is that you do.
I'm the founder and owner of Compton Vegan. It's a mobile delivery service and a pop-up shop, basically, that provides vegan alternatives to everyday foods to the inner city and anywhere else that I'll pop up at, basically.
For sure. Now, a lot of people are hesitant about vegan foods, including myself. I'll be honest. I'm not excited about the idea of vegan, but kind of talk about some of the substitutes and kind of some of the ways that you prepare food to make it not so scary to people.
Yeah, no, that's a good look. So what I did was the foods that I was craving when I first started my transition to become vegan. I just used to recreate all of the foods that I used to eat. I recreated vegan chicken, vegan ribs, vegan hot links, just anything that you can think of. I've created it through a plant-based recipe.
Kind of real quick, talk me through some of the foods that you got here. What are you serving?
All right, so the main staple for my business right now is something that I've created myself. So these are jackfruit ribs, and then this is mac and cheese. So I make that from scratch as well. So it's a cashew-based cheese that I make from scratch. Like if I can show you something that looks similar to what you're accustomed to eating, then I could probably get you to taste it. And if you taste it and you like it, then that might start your hamster wheel, and then you might start thinking about different, options on living.
For sure. Now on a macro level, when people think vegan people, right? Like what a vegan person may look like. I'm sure you're not the image that comes in people's minds. Can you kind of speak to like how there are stereotypes about veganism?
Man, so when you hear the word veganism, you associate veganism with, white people. So when people see a black person as a vegan, they're like, man, we're not supposed to be eating that. We're raised off the hog. So then it goes back to, how black people came to America and we were given the leftovers from whatever the master was eating in the house, and then all the slaves were eating the chitlins and the pig feed and like whatever else that was left over. So we're programmed to believe that all of that unhealthy stuff is like a delicatessen for us. You know what I mean? So like the traditions that we continue to carry on from our mom and our grandma and our great-grandma that was passed down to everybody. Like we're just continuing all the things that were given to us when we were on plantations. You know what I mean? If people could see a black man as a vegan, as a healthy vegan, as a successful human being, as somebody that's being a role model, that's somebody that's trying to get back to their community, then, that will pique somebody's, attention. That will raise somebody's awareness. like I said, I just want everybody else to make better choices.
All right, let's see. Oh, wow. It's just like, it tastes like meat.
It's
Like,
the-
I thought I was about to bite into like a vegetable or some shit.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It
It's a
feels like
misconception.
I'm eating a rib. Like, the consistency, wow. All right.
Yeah,
No, this is
man.
good.
Thank you, my
I ain't
brother.
gonna lie, this is good.
I appreciate you, family.
Another LA native is also looking to bring life to her community. Olympia Auset was born and raised in South Central and in 2016 launched SUPRMARKT LA, a weekly pop-up and delivery service that aims to bring fresh produce to underserved communities. What is SUPRMARKT LA?
SUPRMARKT is a low-cost organic grocery that makes it affordable to eat well in food deserts. And a food desert is a place where you have to travel really far to get like fresh food. We've been around for 3 years. We've provided over 30,000 pounds of organic produce since we started. So basically we work with like local growers like that stay less than 2 hours away. So they'll pick the food and they'll bring it to us the next day. And then for certain things that we need that don't grow locally, such as like bananas or pineapples and stuff like that, we just get it from organic wholesalers.
And then how do people get it from you? Do they come buy it? Is
Yeah.
it delivery? What is it?
Yeah, so people basically come visit us at our pop-ups because we do pop-ups every weekend. So people can come and just shop with us, kind of like you would at a farmer's market. If you don't have time to do that, you can just call us or go online and then we'll just deliver the food to you. You can customize it like via text, like, oh, I don't want kale, like give me collards or something like that. And that's basically how everything works.
Now you speak a lot about food deserts.
Yeah.
What is a food desert?
So the definition of a food desert is if you live more than a mile from a full-service grocery store. In South Central, there's 1.3 million people and only 60 grocery stores. So what that translates into is when you decide you want to eat something healthy or fresh, you're probably going to be on the bus 2 hours if you take the bus, and you're probably going to be driving at least 30 minutes to get where you need to go. So like by contrast, if we were in West Los Angeles, there's 700,000 people and 57 grocery stores. So what that looks like is you can't really drive a mile. Like there's no direction you can drive in without really running into a grocery store pretty quick.
And how common is that in America, and even
Yeah.
particularly here in Los Angeles?
Yeah, so about 24 million people in America live in food deserts. So a food desert is usually anywhere that is considered the hood or a low-income neighborhood or the ghetto. That's usually where food deserts are. They have kind of a historical basis because there's a few different layers to it, but there's something called redlining to where the zoning in a city, especially, prior to desegregation, the zoning would be such that you couldn't put grocery stores in certain areas because it wasn't zoned for it. What areas are those? The areas that are only the places where black people can live or where brown people can live. It really has to do with just a legacy of not caring about people in a certain area, and ghettos being a place where you just throw people away. And also it has to do with the fact that people were making money off of dialysis centers and off the fact that people were getting sick. Like this is a cash operation. This is not just by accident. Fast food chains make money, junk food chains make money by having areas where there's no healthy food there. Like somebody profits off of it. And we really have to start to look at it as something structural and not just something that happens by accident. I tend to call it a food apartheid because I feel like that's closer to representing the fact that it's by design, whereas like a desert is something that kind of just happens naturally, but food deserts don't happen naturally.
Are there concrete benefits to being vegan? Are there, obviously, you're supposed to eat your fruits and vegetables, but are there things that maybe are preventable or won't happen if you are vegan?
I'll just start by saying that $1 billion is spent on preventable healthcare in the US every day. So like today, like every single day we spend $1 billion on heart disease, diabetes, stroke, all of these things. And all of these things are reversible via diet. Let's take something like cholesterol, like high cholesterol. Somebody say, I have high cholesterol.
I have high cholesterol.
You actually do?
Yeah.
So cholesterol is something that only comes from animal foods. You can only get it from like milk or eggs or any sort of animal product. Your body makes cholesterol naturally, but you're only gonna have high cholesterol if you're eating dietary cholesterol. So if you switch to a plant-based diet, that gets rid of high cholesterol right there. Really easy, really simple. And so this is really real for me, and my goal is just to make it so that the people in my immediate circle do not die from preventable disease. And I really just want to make sure that the places where I grew up end up better than they were.
Olympia is still looking to continue to grow SUPRMARKT, and next up on her list is owning her own brick and mortar store. It's set to be located right near the Marathon clothing store founded by the late Nipsey Hussle. whose mother at her son's memorial service encouraged everyone to go vegan to honor his life.
It's our feeling that, you know, a part of NIP's work was making sure that the neighborhood didn't get gentrified or just taken over or, you know, sort of like colonized again. And so it's important to us to make sure that as things get sold, the people that are from here start to create businesses and start to have ownership in this area, because like I said, we shouldn't have to leave our neighborhood every time we need to get fresh food. I think that growing up, you tend to like think that is normal, you know, like you're just like, oh, like, yeah, they only have the nice stuff in the white neighborhood. But why don't we have, like, we can make almond milk too, like we can manufacture things too. Like, why don't we have all of these thriving businesses here? Like, why do so many people leave this neighborhood to go to work? Like, why can't they work next to their home? You know what I mean? So it's gonna take work to rebuild that. A part of that is ownership, and the first thing that you need to own and control is your food supply. So that's why we wanna have a grocery store.